Recording in progress. Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, now I'm not, now I'm in there. Now I'm in.
Oh my God, stop it.
Any
Where,
conversation to,
where are you talking about, Julie?
Under section D, under new business,
Which part?
where it says there was no time to send Sarah to other libraries to see what they're doing. What I was trying to make clear was that we are constantly comparing ourselves to other libraries. We're on listservs, we're on Facebook pages, and we do compare ourselves to others. The issue was that I was being compared to libraries that had $500,000 budgets and 9 staffers, and that we could not possibly meet those standards.
so what rephrasing do you suggest?
Well, as I just said, we do compare ourselves to others constantly. We don't need to go to other libraries because we have electronic versions of that. Both our listserv through all of the state libraries and also Facebook, not just in neighboring libraries, but the country and the world. We have access to many different groups. We're both on several groups. The issue, I think, here is that we're being compared to libraries that are much better funded, much better staffed, and that's unfair. And I think I used the word demoralizing because it is. How could I be expected to meet the same programs that Bailey Library, for instance, has 9 staffers, 3 of whom are dedicated to kids programming?
So I guess the question is this not, is the objection to how it's reading here, did it not reflect what was discussed during the time, or is it still objecting to the action plan itself?
Both.
Okay, so we revisit the action plan, but how it reads here, is this how it was, what was said during the?
No, it isn't what was said, because I said what I just repeated twice, was that we have access electronically.
Okay,
And we are very aware.
so you
of
want
what
to have
other
more
libraries are
detail?
doing. I don't think this is accurate at all.
Well, I know you said that there wasn't time to send Sarah to other libraries, you were really busy, and that it felt insulting to even suggest that.
And the reason was because we
Okay.
are very aware of what other libraries are doing.
So you'd like to have the minutes reflect the addition of because you are aware.
We could add, we can add a line that says, Julie says the library is aware of other libraries' programming.
I can type it myself if you prefer, but I think to say there is no time to send Sarah to other
But
libraries.
that's what you
And
said
leave
at
it at
the
that.
time.
Allison, I remember very clearly saying that we are privy to many,
Mhm.
many other resources.
Right,
We don't have to physically go to other libraries. We have our Facebook programming pages, we have Facebook library pages. We both belong to many other Facebook pages, and we also have the library listserv, which is 200 plus main libraries. So we do keep abreast of what other libraries are doing. This makes it sound like I'm objecting to what other libraries are doing. I'm not. We do keep current that way.
So can we add something that says, it's not necessary to go to other libraries and that the library is aware of programming in the area?
Well, you could add something about the many Facebook pages that we regularly,
Well, I don't know if that was said in the meeting about the Facebook
We're
pages.
trying to be accurate to what's said in the meeting. This
and
was
that's
supposed-
what I said in the meeting.
Well, we can look back on the meeting minutes
Okay.
from there, but I did write, so I could fix it if it was said in the meeting. Because Julie is aware of other libraries and listservs, Facebook programming pages, etc.
Okay,
Does
well
that
then
work?
that, yeah, if you add that, then I think
Julie?
that,
Does that work?
That's better, yep.
I lost it. So so what am I doing? Or are you fixing this?
well, are we going to vote with that addition? We're gonna vote to approve that addition and then
We
that's
need to
going-
wait till it comes back.
Okay, let's just table it.
Let's make sure there's nothing else that needs to
And then
be, is at the last of it right
Beth
there.
will add the line that you just said from your notes.
And is that the last page with the bit on D? Okay. Was there a time that we adjourned?
Is there a third page of these?
Is
I
there a
think there
third-
was.
Uh-oh. How do I do the third page?
I don't know.
Well, okay, it doesn't matter because we're not,
Okay, so if you can make the changes and then we
Yeah.
can,
So,
on the next meeting.
okay, director's report.
And I would say also that the town, my understanding is the town no longer keeps minutes since their meetings are being recorded.
Well,
So-
I think
so-
that's something we should definitely discuss or talk about using AI to take the minutes because AI is fantastic at doing it.
Well, rather than be misquoted or argue about it, I think that might be worthwhile.
I think we can create bylaws that reflect little minor edits we want to the ordinance once we know if we're working with the original ordinance or the amended ordinance come June. And then we can say like the scribe is just responsible for ensuring that that the meeting is recorded or something like that.
You won't be able to change the ordinance after it's, if
No, but
the amended
bylaws.
ordinance is changed.
Yeah, so bylaws that like modify the scribe's duties. To reflect how the minutes are going to be. Preserved. I think if we do that. Does anyone know if at the select board meetings, if anyone takes actual physical minutes?
I haven't seen anybody there lately. Has anybody else? There used to be.
I was told they no longer do it because they're being recorded.
One meeting that I went to, that I remember, I was really surprised. I don't think anybody takes the minutes physically there. And then somebody in the town office goes through and makes sure that the person who made the motion and seconded it were correct.
Okay,
I'm looking at the screen again to see who voted.
Okay,
okay.
That's what I remember.
Well, I think that might be Dennis who does that. So before we
okay.
do that, I think we need to see if one, if we can, and two, if it would be us doing that
There
or
was-
somebody else doing it.
There was a while that they had both Zoom during COVID or post-COVID, that there was one of the ladies, one of the clerks from the town office would sit in the corner and she would take, but they were recording, they were doing both. But I think you're right on that,
I was surprised that
Okay.
nobody was.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's smart to them to just rely on Zoom because they could go down at any time. so,
yeah,
Plus, the video recording would take a huge amount of storage, and at some point, you're gonna have to start deleting it.
well,
And you wouldn't have like a file with a hard copy,
they do it through YouTube, so that's kind of almost infinite.
That's true.
maybe, as long as there's the internet.
Okay.
Well, we can look into that. We don't have to make that decision today. Julie. Director's report.
Yep. Well, you have it there in front of you. I don't know that I need to read it. I'm happy to answer questions.
So I did have a question. What are the restrictions on the free tickets to the garden?
You can get 1 or 2 adult tickets. And if you're only one adult, you can take up to 5 children or grandchildren. If you have 2, you can take up to 10.
Oh, wow.
You have to, they're still trying to sort that out, but I believe in the past we have had to, we only have 1 set of tickets per day. And whoever wants the ticket has to specify their time of arrival on the hour or the half hour. Because the garden is still being very controlled about how many people are on the grounds.
And that they do with you.
Pardon?
Is that, they do that with you or? do
Yes,
they-
everything is done through me.
And
yeah.
then the aquarium passes, same.
No, that's a different deal. This is they were closed for a while, so this is, may not be the same in the future, but for this year, we're getting free passes. I actually can't recall exactly what it was, but it's a paper pass and I put the date on that. I'd have to go get my
Okay.
notes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a fun
No,
place. Copy of what?
Did George, just put- oh, you came in after they were around.
Yep.
I went on the website looking at those passes after we talked about them at
Is
the,
there, do you have another copy?
I don't. Of the.
I
of
can
the-
just look on with you, the director's.
Oh.
Unless it's, is it? I don't know.
No, that looks like somebody else's work. I don't know what that is.
You need
That's
a
all right.
copy of the directive before you?
I can look on with Ruth Ann.
Okay.
See, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. I was still going on to the state park website to look at the passes, what they cost and like the season passes. I was exploring from my own interest and stuff. Somebody had heard say something about the grandparent pass and you could get grandparents and it was like $45 and as long as you have a grandparent, then take the children, but I didn't know that they had like the seasonal or year-round pass for individuals could get it too, and I was trying to figure out whether or not, like, if somebody had a pass, if then you could share it with people or not, and if it's just for libraries, I don't know, I've got to.
Well, we're getting vehicle passes, as Laverne had asked that I get 2 vehicle passes,
Yeah.
so that's what we're getting.
It's called a
And the
vehicle
vehicle
pass.
allows up to 17 passengers.
Yeah.
So if you had a van, you could
Yeah.
take 17 people.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it as an amenity for my cottage, like if I had one, I could leave in the cottage and they could use it, but I don't know if it has to be assigned to a name or something, but.
Does this have anything to do with the live?
No, it's just a
I doubt-
ADHD bounce.
I doubt that they're transferable.
You doubt they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
So the Friends of the Library did not pay for the canoe or kayak.
They tabled it to like October,
Okay.
more than anything. There was a lot of discussion about whether it was gonna be a good idea and.
Oh, I took it that they were not interested in doing it, that they thought it would be too much work for us. So, just as it happens, I ran into, one select board member and was on the phone with another one about other things. And, as you can see here, I'm considering when and if they get a rec department director and or waterfront director, excuse me.
The level of energy being exhibited at 7:15 on a Monday is
Disgusting.
disgusting. It's disgusting. Should be tired.
What's that?
I'm saying that the level of energy those kids have is disgusting. 7:15 on a Monday.
So where were we on that? Oh, yes. So, because a lot of the discussion seemed to resolve, am I right? A lot of it seemed to revolve around not the cost, but the library staff's time and having to inspect and this, that, and the other. So I had thought that we could do a community partnership, which I've done with several other organizations in town, where they would, maybe the Friends would buy the vessel, whatever it is, canoe, kayak, whatever, and it would be kept at the beach, at the town beach, Cocknoagan Town Beach. And, that way they could store it in that building over the winter. We could take back the PFDs, because there might be mice or something if they don't have a mouse-proof box. We could find a space with paddles or the PFDs and or the PFDs. the two select board members that I talked to thought that was a great idea, because it wouldn't deprive the citizens of the option of that service, but would, also, obviously would just, the library staff would really not be involved. But a lot hinges on whether or not they come up with a rec department director and or waterfront director.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens and then.
Well, the Friends meet in July again, right? So
Mhm.
we could revisit this and talk about it. I'm not sure about the portable spinning wheel. I'm still not really clear what the objection was to that. Do you recall?
I think it was the bang for the buck.
Well. The amount that I listed would have been for a brand new one. And the fiber artists are telling me they could get one for probably half of that. So maybe I could re-urge that in July as well. If the Friends don't want to pay for that, I could probably take it out of the McCabe money. I'm still not really clear about the McCabe money process. I had thought that was going to be anything the library wanted, that the town was just holding it in escrow. But, before the town manager went away on vacation, I had asked him about, what was I asking about? Purchasing something. And he said I had to get the amounts approved by the select board. But, I was in TJ Maxx. I happened to go in there 3 times and that furniture was there. And I bought it personally. I bought it. So technically it's mine, until I'm reimbursed for it. And if I'm not reimbursed for it, I'll just take it all home. But
What's it called again?
what's that?
What's it called again?
What's what called?
The fiber,
Oh,
Spinning-
the portable spinning wheel?
okay, is that it?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
here.
okay, I
Yeah.
see, yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't get bogged down on the details because it's
Okay.
all recorded, but, so I have to check with the town manager, because if this is to happen for me to be reimbursed, my current understanding is, the next select board meeting is May 14th, that I have to have him put that on the agenda to approve the purchase.
Or the McCabe.
And is it like, they're gonna approve it because it's just like formality?
I don't understand. So that's part of the thing I have to talk to the town manager about, because, Compton Hall was also given a grant for the same amount. And I don't remember that had to go before the select board. I just want to be sure I understand what the process is and why. But I bought the furniture because it was there, it was what I wanted, and I didn't want to lose out on it. When I talked to those, the 2 select board members weren't together, but independently, when I talked to them, I just said my thought was to buy, as I've written here, relatively inexpensive items, lightweight but sturdy. Rather than buy a $5,000 couch, which everyone knows that's easy to spend. I just thought to get cheaper, well, less expensive items that, if a kid takes a marker to it, and it can't be cleaned, then it's $150 down rather than $500 down, or 1,000 or $5,000 down. So, so I just bought them. My friend and I fit them all into her vehicle, and I was able to myself carry them all into the library. So it just seemed like, between us and the cleaners and whatever, it just seemed like that was the appropriate thing to buy, and I wanted it, so I just bought it.
All right,
I
well, let's
do
see
want
what
to
happens on
purchase
the
another
14th.
table or something, so it'll go up a little bit, but all in all, the whole set should be under $1,000. And I have to talk to Tony about the public works taking those study carols apart. But in order to do that, I also need to know the value of the carols. I don't, people aren't clear, people I've asked are not clear what the value is. At one time, I think even the ordinance may reflect $150, but I'm not sure that's still accurate. Because there is some level where they can just be given away or burned or whatever.
Okay, thank you. New business. Mayfair plan, the library, like, we talked at some point about having a table to talk about like what the trustees do and stuff at the library and like talk about the library of things. Is that something people are interested in doing?
I'm gonna be busy with something else.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing like the plant sale and stuff. So, and whatever else Taskmaster over here wants me to know.
Dennis says we have lots of room for tables, so I've been renting tables to people who've asked. All you have to do is ask,
I mean, I guess we could have a table and then not use it.
but you need to have somebody sit at the table.
I'm gonna have a table already, so if we wanna just have stuff. Like
Okay.
a pamphlet or something.
Cause I think it'd be really cool to hand out something that like has a list of the library of things, so people can know about that. Maybe something that says, you know, hey, with one adult, you can bring 5 kids to the botanical gardens, with 2, you can bring 10 kids and you know, like, just PR the cool stuff that the library has. And not, you know, not everyone's from Monmouth, but they can always pay to get a library card if they're jealous.
Yep.
So,
Julie, how much does a library card cost for?
At this point, it's only $10.
That's it.
Yep. Encourage them to perhaps come back a different day, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy that day and don't need to add that to.
cause we could just have like a handout that you could be like, oh, by the way, I'm a library trustee, here's some information on the library. Cause Canva is amazing and.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We have had handouts at the sale table and the magnets.
Yeah, maybe like it could be, we could have them in multiple places. We hit up everybody. So I can ring up plants and give a little handout that says what the library offers.
What's your table you're having?
My jewelry.
Cool.
I won't be available because I didn't realize that was Sarah's dance recital day, so. I had to let Laverne know that I won't be able to do the fairy garden, but I'm gonna double check and find the other person to help you with it. That's what we were talking about this morning.
Well, apparently Sandy's gonna do that. Sandy,
Her granddaughter
Granddaughter.
was going to help, but she does not know how to do it. So I'm gonna
okay,
try to get Esther to do it, because
oh,
she did
okay,
it
because
before.
they asked if Sharifa would help her.
Yes,
And Sharifa will, if you need her.
well, we will need extra people, but first we need someone who knows
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I just found that out, so it's unfortunate, but it's unavoidable.
Programming. Allison, you wanted, like, you said something about youth programming and I didn't write down the agenda item other than youth programming. And so was it like, did you want to talk about like ideas for like
Right,
the animal guy, Drew and his, you know,
Well,
animals too?
right, well, oh yeah, for summer programming, or I think it was tied into summer programming. Well, I just wanted to find out what we were doing this summer for summer programming, what the theme was, what was happening this summer.
We are not using the CSLP theme
You're
this
not,
year.
okay.
no. And Sarah's working on the programming. We haven't connected yet on what she's organizing. I
Okay.
don't think we're gonna be able to get Drew and his animals too.
Yeah, he's in a
He's
lot of flux,
moving
yeah.
and he needs a lot of lead time. In the past, we've done Shawanki. I'm not sure if we're doing Shawanki again or not. But I don't know what her program is.
Yeah, okay. Are you guys creating your own theme and when is you kicking it off? I think school gets out on,
16th.
Yeah,
is it that Monday, the 16th?
No, I think it's
You know,
Thursday.
but I have not committed that to memory, so I don't
Okay.
have that information.
And I don't know, but it could be changed because of snow days.
Okay.
but we try to start it pretty quick
Oh,
after.
wait, it is a Monday, the 16th is a Monday, so I think it's.
I
the
think they
19th.
talked about, it can't be the 19th because that's like Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, maybe it's the 18th. I don't.
But we do try to start it soon after school lets out.
Right. That's what I
Well, it'd
thought.
be great to get something into the last Mustang Messenger about the summer reading program before school is out, so. That'll
Especially,
be, if we could get it into like one of the ones in like the first or second week of June.
especially if there are like, big ticket events. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, not ticket because they don't pay, but if there is headliners or bigger things that will grab to get people to come into for signing up for the summer reading, especially if they know there's going to be, whether it's the movie nights or the animals,
We're no longer doing movie nights.
you're not gonna do movie nights.
They're
are
expensive.
We haven't done them it isn't the expense of the license. It's a community member complained about, accessibility for those hard of hearing, and it just became cumbersome, and we let the license lapse, and there were only a few people coming to those. I just don't think it's a good value for us. And it requires one of us having to come after hours and do them, so.
What was that?
No,
A possibility of reinstating the movie nights.
Oh, movie nights,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
So
we're not
then-
doing movie nights.
Oh, I think I made
We
my
haven't
glasses
done them
down,
in
yeah,
years.
jumping ahead. So, yeah, so then the programming, so back to, we talked about it, some of it was in the action plan for the youth programming. Diversifying, making a plan for some other things for youth programming. Is that something that can be some sort of a long-range plan to start picking up something?
well, I am offering youth programming. I don't have I do not have the technical skills to do some of the things that are being discussed. I constantly ask members of the community to step forward and offer their interests, offer their skills. But unless I know someone who can run a library program on Legos, I personally can't, because I don't know anything about them. They've become very, very complicated. Same with, oh, what was the other one we did a few years back? Minecraft. Because that requires setting up a server, and that's not something I would be able to do. But if you can find people who want to do it, certainly.
Is that something we could possibly, where there's going to be a lot of the public, at Mayfair, asking, like, we're looking for community members who would be interested in helping the library set up, things and have like a list, like we're looking
Yeah,
for
like,
volunteers
Would you be interested in teaching young children how to crochet or knit?
Well,
or-
we're already doing that.
or play chess
doing that.
or Minecraft, but any.
Well,
those type of
I'm
things.
doing that. If you guys think you can get somebody to do it, more power to you. But I don't want it to replace things that we're already doing.
Nobody's talking about replacing. we're
Well, you
talking-
mentioned crochet and knitting, and I have that in hand. So, just trying to clarify.
And then we're thinking that it seems there might be some confusion on how to use the cloud library and how to download ebooks and audiobooks and then how to read and or listen. And that we could do a little tutorial some Saturday. So people could come in and then you could like, because I'm a hands-on learner, like I don't want to read the instructions, I want to be shown how to do it,
Well, it's fairly intuitive, and there's 3 steps. You create an account, and that's basically it.
Okay, I remember hearing someone asking about how to do it at some point.
Well, if you have someone who wants to run a tutorial,
Well, but that's,
Feel
like, one
free.
of us could easily do it. If there's a desire in the community.
I don't believe there is. Most people come in and we show them, and away they go.
I was specifically asked, and I won't give the name of the patron, but when I was collecting signatures for re-upping, hey, Allison, one of my frustrations is I can't get on, and could you guys set up one of those tutorials? It's really, really frustrating.
Are they activated? Is their account activated?
I don't know, I didn't.
That is primary, so they should call us. We are the people they should be calling, not asking third parties. All they gotta do is call us, we'll walk
They
them through
said
it.
sometimes there are classes, libraries have classes where they come in and they teach from beginning to end. I don't
I'm
ever use
not aware of any of those.
on online ones and Facebook ones and videos on how to access this stuff. And I said point blank, I don't do it. I read a hardcover book and that's all I ever do. I wish I have to say this is a downfall with me as a trustee. I have no idea. I know we offer it. And this person said, it's something I know myself and I know others would really love. And I said I would pass it along.
All they have to do is call us and we'll walk them through it. It's easier to do a one-on-one than to go through the exercise of scheduling it, advertising it, and have no one show up. It is literally a 5-minute person to person, 3 steps. So if they can't get on, they need to be in touch with us and we'll make sure their account is activated. That is primary. If the account is not activated, if it has not been put in the database, that they can't use it. We don't automatically do it because it's an extra step. So we always try to ask people, and we have a handout that we give people when they sign up for a card. Some people will say, oh, I'll let you know if I want it, but you know, that's all I can say. And we do it over the phone, we do it in person. And we help them troubleshoot if they do have trouble getting on for some reason. But I don't think it's worth doing a program per se. Although somebody else can do it if they want to, you're willing, you know, that's fine.
Okay, so I think we already touched upon the summer reading program and the Mustang Messenger.
The
Julie-
the messenger came, but I noticed it came out Friday. And if it goes every other week, that means the next Friday it will come out, would be the Friday before Mayfair, the 16th. So if either.
I have the deadlines, but I don't think it is Fridays, because they have told me in the past I get them in on, well, maybe I'm speaking. I think I have to submit it between Monday and Wednesday.
That
Right.
makes sense, because
Comes out on
we get
Friday.
them in our inbox on
But
Friday.
I have direct from Nikki, I have the new deadline.
Okay, I was gonna say, so, but.
I
So
think the
not,
30th would be like the biggest bang for our buck.
right, but for Mayfair, next week, between Monday and Wednesday, if you reached out to the Monmouth Memorial School, they might put something in about Mayfair.
Remind me again what you just said about, and then it has to be. How many
So
days ahead
it's-
of time?
She needs to get it in by Wednesday, and it's given,
Yeah,
it's emailed to the parents
Don't worry about
the
that.
second, every other Friday.
We don't need that kind of detail, in my opinion.
Julie, can you give us a list of the new items in addition to the old items for the library of things so that we can do a handout for the
I can
Mayfair?
get you one, but it's in flux all the time. Part of the problem right now is, we're having problem with our book supplier. So some of the items we want to offer instruction books with, or we're waiting on, like little suitcases to contain them all. So I don't know when all of them are going to be ready. Some of them are already available and I've actually been checking them out. But I can give you you know, a developing list, let's say.
Yeah, what are some of the new things that you've purchased?
Um. So we have 2 ukuleles, only one of them's in flow right now. Cause we didn't have a case for it, for both of them. We have, we're not gonna catalog puzzles, we're just gonna do a puzzle swap. Cause that's just too cumbersome, and if somebody loses a piece or whatever, we're sunk. But we have kits on again, they're not available because we don't have all the materials, but we have kits. Or will have kits on loom knitting, quilling. A 3D doodle pen, it's a 3D printing pen. Trying to think as I go along the row upstairs what there are. Origami, but we're waiting for a book on that.
And
Gosh, I can't remember what they all are.
if people want to use the Cricut, they have to use it here.
They have to be trained on it. That was part of the deal when the friends agreed to buy it. They have
Okay.
to be trained on it.
Well,
And are
that
all-
was we didn't make that a requirement, you did.
Oh, I thought that was part of the thing
No,
that the
we
friends,
didn't.
that
Like, what if they already know how to use it, but they just don't have their own?
they can use it.
Okay.
Cause Sue Cody does
And then
that.
is because like, I remember maybe in 2022, there was like, there was trainings and it was like over a series of weeks. It was like
Yeah.
hours and hours and hours of commitment.
Yeah.
And we haven't had one in a while, so,
I have asked Lori to offer some this summer,
okay.
but we have not come up with time and date. Keep in mind that it's not always her regular hours, so the friends may have to be paying for that out of the $2,500 that we have slated
but,
for
like,
this summer.
Don't you know how to use a Cricut?
I don't have a Cricut, I have a Silhouette and they are different. I mean, I probably could figure it out, but it's not the same machine.
Okay. Cause I feel like we should be able to do like a 2-hour little tutorial. Maybe we hold it every 3 months, like 4 times a year, so people can constantly, like, we can add more and more people to the people who can use the Cricut.
Chris Howard and my daughter Susan both have their own Cricut.
I'm
So-
signing them up. Thank you for that, for they're gonna be a
So,
teacher.
I mean, they use it quite often.
Do they?
I think most teachers have access to them in schools nowadays and they.
There's one at the library,
Yeah.
Liz Belgard oversees it, but the kids, then like 7th and 8th graders often are allowed to do it. Unsupervised once they're trained in it.
So I bet either one of them could probably be talked into offering.
Yeah,
I'll
a
talk
couple
to
of
them
years
about
ago, I had Reese do some
There's-
t-shirts for me at Christmas at school.
There's enough people in the community, I think, that also have them. That
Like, if
we
you
might be.
do one training once a year, it's not like a big lift,
Right,
but it's
right.
really valuable.
Right.
How about garden tools and things? I think you remember you telling us there was like a tree pruner.
There's a pole pruner and there's a fruit picker. That's all I have so far.
Okay.
Those aren't new. Those we've had for quite a while.
Didn't you tell me a long time ago, was there one of those, some sort of an electrical device that you could go around and tell
Oh,
what
yeah.
was using up the most electricity in your house? Was it?
Oh, we've got those. You know, I never really thought about those as library things. They haven't been in demand for a long time. We had
are those
3 at one time.
What are those called?
Electrical doohickeys.
Yeah.
Oh,
A
give me-
wattage
Give me a second. Kilowatt. It's a kilowatt
sensor?
device. And it is literally something you plug into the outlet and then you plug in your device into that. You time it after an hour, you push the button for the readout and then you do the math. And I know we have at least one still in play. We may have gotten rid of the other 2 because they just weren't popular.
What about hotspots, Julie? Do you?
I don't have any
No.
of those.
You mean like little portable ones?
May I just say that your electrical devices like that charge are energy vampires. Once your device is fully charged, unplug it.
Well, that's true of anything on standby. If you've got
Yeah,
something on
but I mean, but
standby,
For most people, it's when they leave their phone charger, their computer plugged in, even though it's fully charged.
well, it's
Yeah.
more the things on standby, because those are huge use. of-
Yeah. You mean like the cords, leave the cord and you plug your phone on the end and the cord's still there?
Well, I'm asleep when mine's done charging, so.
I'm sorry.
As long as you
to
don't leave it on.
Interrupted,
No.
except I had to do
All
a
day.
presentation on energy vampires at once.
You did a presentation?
I did it, well, Bates does these employee things and I got sucked into.
You should do another one.
Yeah, on energy vampires.
I'm signing you up for energy vampires.
All right, well, that's good. That sounds like a good, if you have a more detailed list before, then we could definitely have this is the items along with those passes and things, and then coming soon list, and that would be a great thing to share, like put it.
Yeah, it's a great list so far.
Okay, great. Old business. Julie.
Did we go through all that new,
Oh, wait,
summer
no, summer
meetings?
meeting, sorry, I crossed that off accidentally. So since we don't normally we haven't been doing summer meetings, I think we can just does everyone have the capability of getting on Zoom? For a meeting? In their own house, on their porch, with a glass of iced tea on a hot summer night.
By phone, whatever,
I
yeah.
hope we don't have to meet during the summer.
I think we'll just meet quickly so that because we have to follow the ordinance. So for June, we don't have, well, do we normally meet in person in June? Okay. But according to the ordinance, we have to meet every single month, but I think we can just hop on and be like, is there anything that we need to talk about? And if we don't, that can be the meeting. That constitutes as a meeting. Let's call it to order and it's adjourned, it's a meeting. And not everyone, if you miss a meeting, if as long as we're not voting on anything, we don't even need a quorum. Okay. Now old business. How did the April patrons drive go?
I actually haven't had time to add them up, but
Okay.
just, I don't think any of it was really the result of promotion or anything. I just think we're attracting new members and there've been a lot,
Great.
but I don't know how many, and I don't think it was because of the quote unquote drive. I just think we're, I don't know how, but it's just happening.
So the May 14th town meeting is when it's the public hearing portion of the amendment to the ordinance. Is anyone planning on going to that? Next one.
I won't be here.
So it's part of the select board meeting, correct?
Yeah, that's why.
I think, well, from my understanding, that everything that's on the ballot, that's an ordinance, gives some sort of an opportunity before June to be discussed at a public hearing. So they use a portion of the select board meeting, and this one is up May 14th.
And I imagine people could be going and asking questions about it, so like, I'm planning on going, so that people have questions, I can answer them to my best of my ability, but I'm hoping like, not super long. Because everyone can read the amendment.
You're traveling?
Hiking.
You're in the hiking group?
Yeah.
I can't wait to retire.
We've been together 30 years. and most of us are over 80. now.
I want to have a story about that.
Life goals.
I'm gonna find a journalist to go hiking with you.
We're going to French fellow.
Do you know, Anna, about cause I saw something in here about it, the proposed amended ordinance going to the
Lawyer?
attorney, but in the recent email from the town manager, it appeared that it had not gone.
I think it's with her. I think she hasn't gotten it back to the town. And I'm assuming she'll get it back to the town before the 14th.
That's not what he said, though. He said it had not gone to the town attorney. Didn't you all get a copy of that? email from
Yeah, I
him?
think I do. Seen that.
Because I find
And no,
that,
it has not been reviewed by the town's attorney, so it's with her, but I don't think she's gotten to it. That was my understanding, because I know that it's been given to the attorney, so she has it, but I guess there's lots of towns she represents, I don't know. As soon as I know anything, I'll let everyone know, but I don't have anything new to say about that.
Your question, is anyone else planning on going on next Wednesday? I'll attempt to go. You're gonna attempt? You're gonna go? Julie, are you planning on going?
yes,
You don't
not because of that. I usually do try.
Well, she has to
attend
go and
when I
ask for
can.
money for the McCabe grant.
Right, and do a report and everything anyway, yeah.
Okay, Julie, you wanted to, wait, did we already talk about the kayak and canoes because of the director's report, so now we don't need to talk about the kayaks and?
Yeah.
And then we also kind of talked about the conversation area and the
Yep.
furniture that you purchased, okay. Is there anything else that anyone would like to discuss?
Julie, are you feeling any better?
What do you mean?
Just in general, are you feeling just better?
No,
No, still not feeling better?
I mean physically or emotionally?
Emotionally?
No, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. I don't feel supported. I was chastised for, my comments about the proposed amendment not being at the town office when the person came to complain to me. I got an email back that said it was, well, I don't even know if I should say it in public. But, I was told my behavior was unacceptable and unprofessional, that I was avoiding my supervisors, which I was not. I sent an email to all of you about the issue. I did not receive a response, so I thought that perhaps someone had sent it directly to Jessica. I made 2 calls to Jessica. She didn't call me back. Finally, I emailed her. She had not received it. And then I emailed you all again and included the select board and the town manager. And, I assume that, email that I received back is now in my personnel file. So, no, I don't feel good about this situation. I expressed it all before. I don't think the president of the Friends should be on the evaluation panel. I think we're gonna go back to the days of when that, it wasn't Laverne, it was someone else, and Laverne won't always be the president. But in the past, the Friends have acted as if I was their employee. In fact, Dennis complained to the town that they treated me like their employee. I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to be fighting those fights. So no, I'm not. In fact, you might as well know, and the public can know, I don't really care. I am, taking another round of family medical leave. So I'm not working full 40 hours. No, I can't sleep. I'm completely stressed. It's hard for me to concentrate. No, things are not good. I'm not happy about the way this thing went down. I don't think it was handled appropriately. And, no, I don't feel good about any of it. I don't think I should have more bosses than the town manager. Nobody else does, and I know it says that in the ordinance, but that could have been remedied. It should have been advisory, not governing. That's typical for municipal. I'm just repeating the arguments I've made, and it is to no avail, so. After nearly 20 years being told that the board was advisory, I feel like the rug has been pulled from out from under me. I think anyone in my position would feel similarly. I really do. It just wasn't fair. I mean, I could say a lot, and it's probably not appropriate. But you guys had voted to amend and didn't amend, and then you were told that you were gonna stand down because of the problems with people coming to meetings and complaining, and then all of a sudden, there it was. And, that should not have happened. You didn't vote to stop amending. So I don't understand how that happened. But can anybody explain that? Because
Wait,
I have people
so
asking me.
we voted to amend it,
Yes,
and then everyone was saying that we were doing backdoor shenanigans, and there was some confusion about the open meeting laws and everything, so we were like, what, let's just put a pin in this for now.
I think though that was not decided by the
That wasn't
board.
a vote, that wasn't us saying we're not gonna amend it, that wasn't us saying we're gonna, it was just like,
Well, I heard comments that, it appeared that the board had worked on it and then, that work was taken and used as a basis for the individual's draft. And people seemed upset about that. I'm just telling you anecdotally what people have told me. The community was upset by the way it happened. They don't think it was fair. It should not be unilaterally like, hey, we're just not gonna do it now because people are upset. That's really not how boards are supposed to run.
But we couldn't meet by ourselves to work on the amendment. Right? And so then the meetings were becoming these like, people were showing up and shouting at us. and-
that's democracy in action, and
I know, but we
that's no
couldn't-
reason not to move forward. And I think that's how people feel. They feel like they were thwarted because they were speaking their mind, and then it just got taken away from them, and now they have, you know, an amendment to vote on, but it's not the amendment I wanted or the amendment that many people also wanted. So I don't know why that decision was made, that you're just suddenly gonna stop doing what you had already committed to do.
But we did do it. We did amend it.
But it did not go to the select board. You and your husband's amendment went to
No,
the select
no,
board.
the one that we all worked on and voted on went to the select board.
That's not my understanding, Hannah, because that was presented as the
You were
McDermott's
here, we
amendment.
all did it together at a meeting,
After the fact.
and that's the ordinance that the town is going to be voting on.
I understand that, but it was the McDermott's amendment
And the
that had been taken from the, see, what I don't understand is the board was working on it. Then the McDermott amendment was the one that the town reviewed. And then they gave that to the board to fix. I just find that a little odd.
No,
Why
no,
wouldn't it not have gone back to you and your husband to fix rather than the
Because
board?
the
And
board told at the select board meeting, they said, trustee board, take the McDermott one, take that back, and you guys use that and come to a consensus.
I'm saying that seems highly irregular.
well, but we
And
all
mine
agreed-
was not, mine was
One
not.
was the one that we've been working on, like Jake and I just finished it.
But you can't see in that process, I kind of feel like you undercut the board. You didn't have the input of the board to do that, or maybe you did, I don't
No,
know.
Jake and I, like I said, we did that separately, because I did not want the old ordinance, and if the board wasn't gonna be able to do it, then like I really wanted to get an amendment out there.
Well, the board could have done it if you devoted enough time to do
We
it.
didn't have the time because at that point you had said, and we thought we could do meetings, Chip had said you can do work session meetings, and turns out we couldn't do work session meetings, and then there wasn't gonna be enough time to have that.
There would have been if you'd gone to later than an hour, hour and 15 per session.
No, I'm talking about if you have a
Allison,
week to have it
excuse me,
posted and then have
excuse me.
another one, we wouldn't have had time to do
Excuse
those.
me, I went to the second work session,
Mhm.
which was scheduled for an hour, and it was adjourned after 15 minutes.
Because we finished. We'd gone.
Chip
through all
hadn't
of it.
finished, he had input that he wanted to add. I don't want to speak for Chip. You've asked me my opinion, I'm stating my opinion. I think this was not done by the book, and I'm just saying, stating my opinion. Somebody can prove me wrong, but I don't think it was handled properly. My amendment, I submitted it, and then I came to that meeting where you guys were tweaking the McDermott amendment and was told that mine was not going to be considered. And then when came time to the select board, I had two of the select board members saying, well, you got some of your stuff in there. And I said, only because I persisted. I was being told to stand down. I was being told that you guys knew what I wanted, and none of that was gonna be considered. So I'm just saying how I feel. You asked how I feel, that's how I feel.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Julie, and I'm sorry you've had to go through all of this. I really am. I can tell you looking back and when this was all brought up in the fall, at my very core, I think I've always known that we were rewriting this. I have felt it was going to go towards what it is now. I don't want to speak for Anna or Beth, but my observations are that they have felt like that. My observations tell me that Ruth and Chip probably would always have wanted to go more towards what you wanted. But the numbers of,
Like it only advisory.
right, and we didn't, so it was always going to be this. So I feel like, and you need to own your own feelings, but it's a lot of wasted feelings on something that was inevitable.
I don't see it as inevitable. Had it gone to the town attorney right off the bat, as the town manager told me, and I presented at that meeting, I think it might have gone a different way. I really do. Because most municipal libraries are not governed by the board. They're governed by the town management. That's how it's supposed to work. Doesn't mean you can't have input into an evaluation. But this is not a typical, and the library management specialist told me, this is not a fair, it's a very difficult and unfair situation for a library director to be in. I can tell you also that I had an eye on someone who might be interested in applying for the job when I do retire, and they are no longer interested because of this. So I think you may be in a situation just like you may be in with the waterfront director or the department director, that the word is getting out and you won't have good candidates. I hope that I'm wrong. But I won't be the director forever, and that'll be somebody else's problem, so. It is what it is. But I don't think this was done above board. I don't, I think it was all, if you're saying it was predetermined, then that's unfortunate.
I'm just telling you how I felt.
Well, I do think the town attorney should have been involved right from the beginning. That's what the town manager told me and what I presented to this board, and that was ignored. And I feel very, very angry about that,
I was
actually.
checking with the town manager, like, to make sure that everything that we were doing was correct. And so it didn't have to go that way, like the attorney didn't have, because she wasn't gonna write the amendment for us.
That's what he had told me, though. And that's what I presented to you.
But we're
a
the
meeting.
trustees, like, we're the
Anna,
ones who
could
are
I
supposed to
finish,
represent.
please? Could I
But
finish?
but you're like,
Because
you're not letting me
when I,
talk.
when I talked to the town manager, and I was later accused of lying, it was not a lie, because I had asked other members of the board, and they thought also that the board had decided to amend it. It had been 2 months since the meeting. I just happened to be in his office. I didn't go in to talk about it. But I said, oh, I think the board is going to amend the ordinance. And he said, great. The town attorney can whip up a boilerplate and then give it to the trustees to tweak. And I wrote you guys a 4-paragraph thing. I've still got it if you want to read it. He said it would probably cost $600. It would, that the town rarely used up the attorney's, what do you call it, retainer, and that it was not a big deal. In fact, it's one of the more pleasant conversations I've had with him. But that is not the way it went down. And I still don't understand why. I probably will never
That was
understand
one way
why.
we could have done it. We did it a different way. And that's okay. We didn't do anything wrong by doing it a different way.
I think it would have had a different outcome if you'd gone to the town attorney first.
I don't think so.
Well, you
Like,
don't
my
know that, but that's
opinion
how
would
I
have-
feel.
Well, I'm pretty sure at the select board meeting that we all went to, they said that it would be a waste of money to do it. To go to them first, that the ordinance should be written and then they would look at it. It'd just be a waste.
Well,
So-
why did the town managers tell me that that's?
I
the way
have
it
no
should be?
idea. You'd have to ask him.
So I move we end the meeting.
I second it.
All those in favor?